fucked up thing is I was dead ass like considering playing Fallout New Vegas while we were recording the podcast.
I mean, if
It's just like fucking
makes
something
it
explosive.
easier
You're
to
just
talk.
No, it doesn't make it easier to talk. It actually makes it worse as far as I can tell. All right, but I'm gonna count down from 10, and then we'll start the podcast. You guys
Count down from 50.
No, I'm not counting down from 50. All right, are you guys ready?
Yes.
50 or I'm out.
Dog, I'm not counting down from 50. Jesus Christ. All right, I'm counting
Make
down.
it 60.
All right, fuck it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Penis.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're good. All right. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing excellent.
Yeah.
So far, so good. Relaxed weekend, enjoying the day.
Awesome. All right. On this episode of the 3 in the Morning podcast, it's the pilot episode for a new setup, new background, new Discord setup, all that. Not recording in our old badass studio anymore. Recording at my fucking desk, and it's low key, kind of like big sad, but that's all right. I'm all right. We have Stone Wolf here, who guested on the religion and spirituality episode. I don't remember what fucking episode that was, but that's the title, so we're good. And he's got his tag Stone Wolf. And then we have Squilliam for the first time, if you want to introduce
Hello.
yourself.
I'm Will, or I guess Squilliam. Either one
Squilliam,
works.
fancy son.
Yeah, Squilliam.
But yeah, that's
There we go. And your Discord avatar picture thing works perfectly for it, which is great.
yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, all my I think since I've been 10, people have called me Squilliam anyways.
Yeah, I think
I know my
calling it
brother has
pretty
called
cool.
me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for background information, Will Squilliam, I've personally known him since middle school, and he's been a part of the group for a long time. But he's more like a satellite member of the group, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
that's
switched to PC
Yeah,
before anyone else.
yeah, I mean, you've been building PCs since what, 6th grade or some shit.
Around there.
Yeah, all right, that makes sense. And then Hector or Stone Wolf, what have you been up to lately, Doug? Since last
Just
episode?
been keeping busy with work, trying to get stuff set up for YouTube, all that kind of stuff. Getting ready for a business trip at some point.
What are you doing with this business? Oh, actually, no, we're not going to go into specifics about that. But you should talk to me about that
Yeah.
after the episode. That'd be badass.
No.
All right. No? All right. What are you?
Just to find out, nah.
What are you thinking about your For Honor YouTube channel thing that you've been thinking about?
My For Honor YouTube channel. I'm just gonna try to keep it casual, normal duels. I'd probably try to get some ranks in, see if I can break into Grandmaster, and if possible, see if I can get into some tournaments and show that off.
Would you be using your gamer tag
yeah.
Stone Wolf and the same picture you have right now for
Yes, I would.
the image of the channel? All right, that's cool. For anybody listening, For Honor is just general rundown. It's a fighting game, but how else would you explain it? It's hardcore as fuck. I'm not gonna lie about that. It requires a lot of skill to really get into it, and it's sweaty as hell and really competitive. But how would you describe For Honor, Hector?
The best way I would describe For Honor is, even though it is a fighting game, it's not like other fighting games like 2D Mortal Kombat. It's not like that. It is a 3D fighting game where you can actually be in a multiple fight. There's actually 44 game modes, and it's a little bit more simplified in Mortal Kombat, but still has its own challenges.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty fucking good way to do it. And it's got it's not like Dark Souls. I feel like there's another type of game. Is it like Chivalry? No, not Chivalry. But there's another game
Not
that has
really.
a weird guard system. You know what I'm talking about?
It might be Mordhau, maybe.
Something
Mordhau?
like that.
That's like a PC version of For Honor. It's
Yeah.
kind of.
For
I've tried it.
for people that are asking what track I talk about, For Honor has a 3 guard system, like top, left, right. That's how it's a little bit more simplified in other games. It's a little bit closer to how Mortal Kombat has high, mid, and low, in a way.
Yeah. And our friend group plays a shit ton of For Honor, and Hector, you're definitely the most advanced member in that regard, which makes sense. You're the one who wants to make a YouTube channel out of it and possibly some kind of business venture if it goes into anything else. But you've done this once before, right?
The competitive scene, like in a tournament.
No, a YouTube channel for Honor.
I have done not specifically for Honor. No, this is my first time messing with For Honor on YouTube, but I have done YouTube before in the past when I was younger.
Ah, okay. Were you guys able to just hear my watch?
Yes.
I feel like most.
I did not hear your watch,
Oh, okay.
but I'm going to listen for it.
I feel like most people when they were younger had like a YouTube phase sort of thing.
Well, you
like
guys did.
99% of my friends had like a YouTube phase, really.
Yeah,
like where they made like
middle school did.
a few videos. Yeah, I think we all tried at least something and then just gave up. But now that we're older, think about it some more. It's not a bad idea.
It's more obtainable than it used to be. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying here now. Obviously, with the podcast, I'm running into some adversity. One, I've got college and a job and other shit to attend to all the time, and then my lack of tech
life's
savviness.
Challenges.
Yeah, my lack of tech savviness is probably the ultimate obstacle. I have to I have to call you like every other day for something. Will, it's fucked.
Hey, Will.
Yeah. For anybody listening, I call Will my technomancer on a regular basis, and that's just because anything I can't figure out technology-wise, which is most things, I call him for it and just stream to him on Discord and have him help me fix shit. I remember when I first built my PC that I'm using to record this. I actually did an okay job for not asking for help from anybody.
Yeah, you did an okay. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Cable management was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like all around a solid build.
But
William's just being nice.
Shut your goddamn mouth. When I turned on the PC, when I turned on the computer, it started cycling on and off. Like it would turn itself on, and the fans would like go really hard for a minute and then turn off again. And I was freaking out. I'm like, fuck, I already broke it. I just turned it on for the first time. It's already broken. What have I done? I call Will. He comes over. Literally just takes one of the RAM cartridges and moves it over a slot, and the thing turns on, and there's no problem. To me, it was dark magic. To him, it was probably really basic. But yeah, it was a similar situation with Ryan when we were co-hosting, because he he knew how to run Audacity and all this editing stuff, and as far as I could tell, he had to like sacrifice a goat every time somebody said somebody's name, and we wanted to edit it out. That's what it was like from my perspective, because I had no fucking idea what he was doing or how it worked.
I mean, that's why I showed you Sony Vegas, because I have no clue how to do Audacity.
Me either, and I know one of your friends on Discord the other day suggested that I use Audacity, but after watching Ryan use it, Guy, I was like, fuck that. I don't want to touch that at all.
The nice thing about OBS too is not OBS, but Sony Vegas is you could also edit the video on it as well.
Yeah, where I went wrong with the last video, Conspiracy Theories, when I was trying to edit it, I already put like the background into the video and like turned it into a video instead of just the audio recording, and that made it really fucking hard and irritating to try to edit out the audio. And I already got like a copyright thing on me on YouTube, and I don't even have like 10 views per video yet. Yeah.
I remember you telling about the who copyrighted it, and I actually saw that someone I don't remember the YouTube video. Someone else had to put like that exact same thing that you said in the description, saying like this is whatever and that, and I'm like, it's like this thing and whatever your video had nothing similar. So I don't know what's the deal with that.
It wasn't that I needed to give them rights to it. It's that I misedited the video. I thought I cut out the beginning of the video where me, Ryan, Joe, and Zach were all shooting the shit, listening to some like really weird country music shit, which wasn't my preference, by the way. That was all Ryan. But fucking, we were listening to this weird ass music, and I don't know how the bots or algorithms or shit work on YouTube, but they had the ability to just like, they had the solid ass ability to come in and find that music, which was like super scratchy and quiet and like hardly noticeable, and copyright me for that. However, YouTube was cool and has a built-in feature where it can literally just cut out the part of the video that has the copyrighted material.
Really?
It
I
took
never
forever.
knew that.
It took forever, but because it was right at the beginning of the video, it just cut that off, and now the video just starts with the intro added in. I'm like, okay, fuck it. Whatever, take it. And now I
It
don't have
works
the
out
copyright
then.
thing. Yeah. Alright, now that introductions are out of the way and everything's good, this episode I wanted to make about stocks, cryptocurrency, social media, the internet as a whole, all that kind of shit, and some of the crazy shit that's been going on lately. Will, you specifically, you've made some money off of Dogecoin, and then Hector, you've been wanting to get into stocks yourself recently, right?
I mess with stocks now. I got some stuff invested now. What I'm currently getting more into is foreign currency exchange, forex.
Oh, so you didn't just look into that; you're actually taking that pretty seriously.
I already do have stocks set up. I'm just moving. I'm just going to be pulling some of my money from stocks and talking with a different broker
No,
about it.
I was referring to forex just then.
Forex.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm already getting to some stuff going, starting really small with it because you got to be careful with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
Right.
agree. Well, I'm not even taking a look at it until I see that you were Ryan. Ryan's into forex too. I'm not even fucking looking at it till one of you guys gets.
I'm not
success
familiar
out of it.
with it.
It's trading foreign currency. It's this really weird concept, but it actually like I sussed it out a little bit and it makes sense. It's
Right.
you have a bunch of like U.S. dollars per se, right? Just for example,
Mhm.
and there's an international market or exchange type of thing where if you believe currency from another country is going to be worth more than U.S. currency, you convert or trade all of your U.S. currency into that country's currency right before it jumps. And then after you do that, technically you just made money just by shifting to another currency. And then you shift back because it's worth
That is
more.
pretty interesting.
Yeah, you give it $30 and say $1 in that country is worth 2 of our dollars right after you gave it $30. Well, now you have $60. Or well, you still have 30 of their dollars, but it's worth 60 here, so you shift it back and now you have 60 US dollars when you started with 30. That's the concept. And Ryan's been looking into that a lot lately, and Hector has too, apparently. I didn't know he was taking that as seriously. I thought he was kind of just sussing it out, but I guess I guess you're really getting into that. And I will. If one of you
Me
guys
and Ry
gives
Guy
me a
are
payout from
looking
that,
at-
I will totally get into it. I don't give a shit. But I have to see
Too
how it
bad
works
you're
first.
not
I'm
allowed.
just all in the crypto, really.
I've noticed that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to tell us about the Dogecoin thing, you told me something a little bit earlier, just like an hour ago, which was funny about how you heard about it. Or how you heard
So
about it.
I've been watching crypto since really Bitcoin came out. I want to start off with one of my biggest mistakes. I could even send you the screenshot if you really wanted me to. But
Sure.
one time I sold half a Bitcoin for $400.
Ooh.
Like in today's market, that'd be worth like $15,000.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like
Wow.
I was like in 7th or 8th grade at the time. I was just starting to get into mining and all that.
Yeah, I remember that. I went over to your house after school one day, and you had like 3 computers just chilling in the corner, and I had no fucking idea why they were all turned on. And it's because you had them fucking mining for Bitcoin.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
like,
paid off the miners.
yeah.
I did get the miners paid off with
great.
what I made, which
Damn,
is
dude.
pretty nice. But
Nice.
if I just held that, I would have made more.
I guess.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
gamble. In
Yeah,
cryptocurrency.
that
You
is
never know.
it's the game.
And
like-
the biggest advice that I could give to anyone who wants to get into cryptocurrency: don't get greedy. You
Yeah,
don't want to get
definitely.
greedy.
Oh,
That
so I
will
shouldn't-
screw
I
you so
shouldn't get
bad.
into crypto then.
If you got bad greed, it will screw you so bad. You're gonna sit there like, oh yeah, I can make more, and then your money will drop, and you're like, oh no, what have I done?
Honestly, I think the best game for crypto is just pumping and dumping. Everyone says hold, hold, but like you never
I'm
know.
absolutely with you. I do the quick trade, stuff like
Yeah,
that. Go in, go out, quick as that. Made a profit. There you go. I just had some extra money I
Okay,
didn't have before.
time out. We're getting into some jargon and stuff that I think I understand, but I am stupid. And
Yes, you
also,
are.
viewers and stuff might have no fucking idea what you guys are talking about. So, what is pumping and dumping?
so a pump is when a bunch of people just buy at the same time, which just drives the value up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the dump is when all those people that just bought sell because they just rose the price. So they just all made money.
I see.
So that's why on crypto graphs, like especially Doge, you just see up, down, up, down, up, down. Just everyone's pumping and dumping it.
Okay, Dogecoin is really weirding me out. We might need to give some context for viewers and stuff with that one. But so the big difference between Dogecoin and Bitcoin is there's actually a limited amount of Bitcoin in the market. Therefore,
Right.
the inflation it has a semi-set inflation amount, right? Wow.
Right, and the interesting thing with Bitcoin, like
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt,
No, you're
but
fine. Go
this is
for it.
actually pretty important
Dude,
with
I'm not the
Bitcoin.
interesting one here. That's why you're the fucking guest. Talk. I don't give a shit.
So
Yeah.
after this has happened a few times, but every time a Bitcoin hits a certain amount that's been mined, payout is actually less. Like it halves, so to speak. So you make half as much Bitcoin for mining each time it halves.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
So that what also drives the value is when
So
it hits those
literal
points.
inflation. Yeah, the more of it there is,
Yeah.
the less it's worth.
I wish I knew that before as well because I had no clue that was even a thing.
Well, you were in what, sixth, seventh grade? Probably
Yeah.
didn't even understand basic inflation at that point, to be totally
Yeah,
honest.
exactly.
Yeah. Not everybody can. I mean, you could be like me, where you do understand a lot of the economy, but don't do anything with that knowledge. I don't know if that's much better, to be totally honest.
Right.
I don't know anything about cryptos though. I'm totally stupid about that. But so what I was saying though that's really weird is so Bitcoin makes sense because there's a limited amount of it. It has a rarity or scarcity or whatever, which
Gives it a
inherently
value.
gives it value. Yeah, that
Yeah.
in the interest
Mhm.
in it, right? Dogecoin
Right.
only has interest in it. Shit's unlimited,
Exactly.
and which is also weird. So I don't understand how you can trade with Dogecoin if it's unlimited, as well. Like I understand how it can get popular because fuck it, for the meme I'm gonna spend $50,000 on Dogecoin, and next thing you know the fucking thing's shooting up. You know what I mean? But
I think
in general,
Dogecoin works the same way.
how is it an actual currency if there's not a set amount of it in the market?
You still have to mine it, like Bitcoin.
How does mining these cryptocurrencies work? I guess.
It's really, really confusing and uses long words, so I could try. I'll try to get you to understand it, but
Yeah,
it
if
might be
try to
hard.
explain it for like a minute, and if I just can't follow no matter what, then fuck it. I'll leave a
So-
link in the description to something I explained. Earlier.
When you GPU mine, you're basically running a calculation that just spits out random numbers, just tons of them, like within seconds, just keeps on going, going, going. And then once you hit a certain number, it's random. You can't just look up the number and all that. It's different for every Bitcoin mined. But once you hit that number, you get a payout of the Bitcoin, and that just keeps going. That's the most simplest way I could really put it.
Okay. So
It's like an RNG game.
okay, that makes more sense. But I guess how does throwing random numbers out into cyberspace give you access to Bitcoin? I guess is the big question. Like, because if Bitcoin is publicly traded in the market, right? Then it's like a privately owned company that has or not firm, I guess. Right? Like it is a private
Like,
entity. Whoever the fuck created Bitcoin or owns Bitcoin in general, like, is rich as shit right now, right?
yeah.
And they
Yeah,
have control
very.
over how this works. So how does one obtain? Like, how is it legal to mine for it? And then under what circumstances is just throwing numbers out into cyberspace give you Bitcoin? I think it's weird.
That's where it's a gray area from my knowledge of it.
Like
I just know
it's kind of magic to the
how
people who mine for it,
it
isn't it?
works. Yeah, kind of.
That is so
Well,
fucking
most
weird.
people pool mine.
What's that?
Um, so it's when a bunch of people are looking for the same number at the same time, but all their PCs and GPUs and stuff are
Throwing out random numbers together.
yeah, they're all doing different numbers.
It's like when a bunch of
And
people get together and all buy lottery tickets and swear they'll share the.
so you have a higher chance of hitting the
Yeah.
numbers since everyone's doing a different set
Mm-hmm.
of numbers. So then once the numbers hit, the Bitcoin is spread out amongst the people in the pool,
I see. So yeah, it's exactly like the lottery thing I was just.
which is what I did, pool mining.
I see. Oh, that
Because
perspective, yeah.
like the rig that I had, I think I had 6 1070s, which would take about maybe, I think it would take like a year or two maybe to even get a Bitcoin doing it alone
Yeah.
without a pool.
How much is a Bitcoin worth right now?
I think it's like
Bitcoin?
33.
$33,000.
Yeah.
God damn.
I can double check this.
I have it on my crypto watch right now. It's actually 40,000.
You have a watch dedicated to tracking cryptocurrencies? It's pretty badass.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, that'll wait, dog. Shit, you're making me want to do this kind of shit, but I can't even set up a recording software correctly, so maybe not.
Like if you're in
steps.
Discord right now, that's what my application looks like.
I'll glance over at that real quick. Damn, that's some complicated looking shit.
Hmm.
Holy.
It looks complicated, but like once you get into like a flow, something like that,
Yeah.
it'll make a lot more sense as it goes. Like from a glance, it
Yeah.
looks like, oh my god, what am I looking at? What are all these numbers?
Wait, so
It's
Hector, you're familiar with cryptocurrencies and how they work as well?
no, I'm not in the same boat as Squilliam here, like made with Dogecoin. Like for me, I mess with like I said, forex trading, but forex trading has like a similar visual
What's
and
that?
graph, just like that.
Okay. Damn, that's interesting. I feel like I'm really behind in the game in this aspect of my life right now. I ain't gonna lie. I need to get
A lot of
into
people mess with this.
stocks,
A lot of people don't. You should be.
cryptocurrency, forex.
You'd be surprised how many people don't mess with stocks at all,
I know how many people don't. I know most people don't on average.
and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a money game. Like it's
Exactly.
fun, but
It is fun. I have a bad habit of just focusing on one thing at a time in my life, and it's hard to have those things going on in the background.
That's where stocks would be nice, and you want to have a contact with a broker, have it sit in the background, help you build that up, because that's what I'm going to be doing.
Let me,
I will.
yeah, let
Go
me
ahead.
know how it goes with your broker, and then
Mhm.
if it goes well for you, right? I think I might need to talk to somebody, for sure.
All right.
It would be cool to do that. I'm not really in a position to get into the stock market right now anyway. It's not like I'm totally broke, but I'm conserving all of the money I make lately so I can try to move out with my girlfriend. So
Which is fair.
yeah. It'd be that way though.
definitely you don't want to throw anything in that would affect your life if you lost it.
Yeah, and that makes sense. So, Will, you did just make a good bit of money off of Dogecoin, right?
Yeah, so I was watching it ever since the whole Wall Street bets thing blew up.
The GameStop thing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then people were mentioning Doge. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna look at the price of this, watch it, and I've had Twitter notifications on for Elon Musk for a while
Mm-hmm.
because he's tweeted about it before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe something's gonna happen here, and it did. He did, and right when I saw the Twitter notification, I bought and then sold when I doubled my money, and I put $1,000 in.
And you ended
Wow.
up making around 900, right?
Right.
Is there a tax? Do you get hit with some kind of taxation when you pull out?
No.
No,
You're not taxed when you make money on the stock market?
no, because you got to understand the risk is also high. There, you are when you are in the stock market, you take the chance of losing just as much money as you put in. You could lose all that money in that snap of a finger.
Well, yeah, I feel like you shouldn't be taxed at all if you lose, right? You didn't gain
Actually,
anything.
the stocks are your earnings can be taxed.
Oh, okay.
But with crypto, it has different regulations because it's technically not a U.S. like
Oh, it's
what you
It's
call
not a
it.
international.
U.S. currency.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
it's
not a
Yeah.
U.S. currency, so they can't just regulate it and say, like,
Yeah. Wait, so with Bitcoin, you can actually obtain like a Bitcoin, right? And that has a set worth amount in
right?
US dollars. How does it work with Dogecoin? Can I obtain a Dogecoin?
Yeah,
That's but okay, and how are more of them made then?
mining.
God, okay, and mining is just this dark magic thing that I don't know how
The
to.
value,
That's where it gets complicated.
Yeah.
yeah,
All we know is it's hard enough to mine. It's difficult enough to mine for the average Joe that these cryptocurrencies can be worth a lot of money.
Yes.
well,
It's
Dogecoin's value is so low because it's been mined so much that like it's not hard to get. That's why it's 5 cents.
so
Yeah.
you could really compare cryptocurrencies to like rare minerals on Earth. So like
Yeah,
Dogecoin is like iron, and Bitcoin is like fucking diamonds, basically.
yeah, that's a good way
Yeah,
to put
pretty
it.
much.
That's a really good way to put it, I'd say.
Or to compare it more to like Minecraft was the logic I was going with it, but yeah, whatever. I'm a nerd.
The analogy's there.
The analogy is there. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That's a lot to digest. I didn't quite understand cryptocurrencies as much as I probably should have before starting this podcast, but or not podcast, this episode. But fuck it, whatever. It's all good.
That's what we're here for now.
Okay, so speculation in the stock market is illegal, right? Like
What do you mean?
to have backdoor insider information between firms to like tell people when to dump and when to pump into the stock
Oh
market.
yeah, it's super
And what-
illegal.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, didn't the reason this GameStop thing happen was because a bunch of people had an agreement together that they were going to fuck with GameStop? That
Yeah.
they were going to sell and then buy back again at a cheaper price. Is that not speculation? Between a
It's
bunch of
pretty
different
illegal, but there's so many people in on it that there's nothing's gonna happen that anyone but maybe the first people who posted about it. Like I think
Well,
a common
I don't
name.
think it's illegal to post it out in public like that. I think it's illegal to just what's it? To conspiracize about it behind closed doors. I think is the illegal part. If you make it public knowledge, then everybody's still on the same footing. Therefore, I don't think it's illegal. It's when it's insider information being sold and shared and shit that I think is when speculation's illegal, right? I thought.
Yeah. So definitely insiders very very bad.
Yeah, very
But
illegal.
I don't think it's legal either to just tell a bunch of people to buy, but I don't know. It
That's
doesn't
where it gets
sound
gray.
Yeah,
like-
that's where you just get served with the lawsuit at some point. You're like, the fuck did I even do? Basically.
like I think they're
Exactly.
looking into investigating the guy who kind of orchestrated it. Like Everyone's on Wall Street Bets is talking about this guy named Deep Fucking Value. He's that's his Reddit handle.
That's fucked.
He had a few million in on it.
Whew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whew.
Well, now
One
he's
one
rich
point he
enough
was
to get
up
enough lawyers that he'll
54
be
million.
fine, so whatever. He should
Yeah.
be rich enough to get the dream team like he's fucking
No,
OJ
he
or
didn't
something.
pull out.
Oh, he didn't?
He held.
Oh,
He was
no.
up more than 50 million, and he held.
So did he not take anything home?
Oh, he bought like super low, so he could still pull out and make a few mil,
Okay.
but he could have made like a lot more.
Yeah, he could have. He could have made $50 million fucking dollars. Holy shit.
And that's where we go back to the advice where you don't want to get greedy. He held on to. He could have been perfectly fine. He
More
would have
than
been all
perfectly
set.
fine. Yeah, I mean, just that amount of money. That reminds me when I heard Joe Rogan sold his podcast to Spotify for $100 million. Like, what the fuck? $100 million. That's part of the reason why I wanted to get into the podcast game, and it's one of the problems I'm struggling with right now because Joe Rogan like basically left YouTube. There's a bunch of he's taken a shit ton of full episodes off of his YouTube channel so that they're only accessible on Spotify. He left his clips channel up, but not his, and his channel's still there, but he's slowly over time been taking off a shit ton of the full length episodes, his like 3 hour long episodes and shit, and putting them on Spotify. And I'm like, holy shit, there's a podcast vacuum now. If if there's a time to start a podcast, it's right now, especially on YouTube specifically. And
You got a good point there.
yeah, but the problem is I have no fucking idea how to tap into that market, the people who actually listen to podcasts regularly. Because Rye Guy is like a bit of a social butterfly, right? And so when we first started, he set up this Instagram situation and used other people in his life and networking and stuff to like get us somewhat of a social media following, super tiny in terms of like what YouTube shit exists on YouTube and influencers and shit on YouTube, right? But it got some traffic on our social media account, and we got like 100 views on our introduction video. I'm like, whoa, that's badass. However, the analytics, not many of them watched it for very long at all. And then on top of that, like all of the networking he did is people like our age, like early 20s, right? I don't think there's a lot of people in their early 20s or late teens that like to listen to long form 3 hour long podcasts. I think that's actually a pretty niche thing for young people, and my target market is way older, and I have no fucking idea how to reach out to them or get there, like, at all. And
I'm not good with social media at all, so I have nothing to say about it there.
Nobody's good in what I'm trying to figure out in our group. Nobody knows how to do what I'm trying to do. And this still pertains to the subject matter of the episode because we're talking about social media too. I would call YouTube a social media, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that's really what I got to try to figure out. Obviously, I should keep posting content. This new format hopefully helps. I think it's pretty baller compared to what I was doing before. I mean, besides losing the studio, because the studio is fucking badass. For anybody listening, it's the background of all my videos up to this one, or before this one. That was the studio me and Rye Guy were recording in. We had this long ass table, this cool microphone set up, and we took a bunch of Game Informer magazines and made that like the top of the table, like the tablecloth or whatever, was a bunch of Game Informer magazines that you could literally just sit down and open one up and start looking through it. And it was just one of the coolest concepts I think ever. Don't have that anymore, but whatever. If I can make this shit go anywhere, I'll recreate something like that.
I mean, if you ever did want to do a studio look again, since it's called 3 in the morning, you could maybe do something around like your bar and make it look like one of those breakfast bars like that you see in Bob Evans and shit.
Yeah. One of them
You know what I'm talking about?
It should be hilarious. I mean, yeah, that could be something cool that I do at some point. I mean, I'm not opposed to that at all, obviously.
just like a random thought I like just had. Like looking at like because I'm watching the live stream, just looking at the coffee cup as the mic.
Oh yeah. Rye
Like
Guy
oh
drew that
yeah,
actually. He's the super. He's like a super artistic, super out there kind of guy, and he drew the background that I got the 3 in the morning thing. The symbol though was actually made by Honey Badger. He was in episode 2, Family. I wanted him on this episode too, but he's got like this weird art commission thing that he's up to. But fucking, he made the symbol. I had to fight with him for a long time to get him to make the symbol because he was busy. Like, and I never paid him for it either because it took him like well over a month to make it, and I'm like, fuck off, I'm not paying you shit. Yeah,
Jesus.
I like it though. I like the symbol, but he's not getting paid garbage because it took him so goddamn long to do it.
Dude, that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Is when people take a long time to do stuff.
Yeah, like Grant that we were just talking to.
Yeah.
Gave
Time
him.
out. Is he okay with you saying his name on this podcast?
Yeah, he's okay with
go
it.
for it.
Yeah, be like Squid was just like
I give
Hey,
him card parts to like machine for me and stuff, like having him put in bushings, in my control arms. And I think I gave them to him 3 weeks ago, and he's put like 2 in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it be that way sometimes, man. It really
So
does.
Grant, if you're watching this, fuck you. I'm trying to get this shit done.
I've had a few situations. Me and Hector tried to start a seasonal service thing going on, but he moved up in his place.
I remember you telling me about that.
We were getting prepared. I was ready to talk, and then the guy I was working with that was working full time, he comes back the next week, goes like, "Hey, I just gave my 2-week notice," and my boss says, "Hey, you're getting promoted and getting free insurance." I'm like, I don't know how I compete with that.
Honestly, it's the insurance more than anything. Hector saw that.
Oh yeah, like the moment he said my insurance is fully covered, I'm like, ouch.
Yeah, which was understandable.
Sign me up.
I get that. And then Rye Guy pulled out of the podcast, and then Badger took like forever to make that logo. And Will, honestly, if you can't keep helping me with tech stuff, even if I have to pay you, that's okay. But if you like disappear
I
or
won't
something,
take payment.
if you get
Will,
if
30
you
bucks an hour.
disappear or something, and fail me too, I'm never doing any kind of business with friends ever again. I'm fucking.
Wait, what? What would I fail you with?
I don't
It's
know.
working
but
right
it's
now.
I know it's working.
I ain't even doing anything wrong. I just got unlucky. I was just like, all right.
Yeah.
I got
but
mad
the
about that
problem
machine too, by the way.
You getting unlucky. You getting unlucky is me getting unlucky. in
No,
that situation.
Yeah, because you aren't just a lucky for this player. And I'm just like, I just feel like this man's gonna mess with Forex and go like, oh look, I just made a giant sale. I'm like, you could go
Well,
fuck
see, that's the
yourself.
thing. Yeah, I'm super lucky in almost everything I do except my business ventures thus far. Like,
Hey,
what the
you
fuck?
know I'm always down for business ventures, so if you
I
ever need
know.
any, hit me up if you ever want to start something.
Well, you know what, man? I have a few things in mind. I really do. We can
We
talk
could
about
work
it.
something out sometime.
Yeah, definitely. And I know
Because-
you're probably like the most entrepreneurial person that I know. A lot of us are, Rye Guy, Hector, you, but you're up there, Will, in the way you handle shit. Not gonna lie.
Oh, thank you. I
You're-
take
you're
that as a
welcome.
huge compliment.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I take it as a chance to make some money, but it's good. Yeah. All right. Let's try to bring the podcast back on track a little bit now.
Yeah.
I saw this really like weird but funny meme video, and it was of all these Spartans at 300 with like.
Let's take it.
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
wait, hold up. Before you finish,
Yeah.
hey guys, let's bring the podcast back to the main topics here. Start talking about Halo.
Oh, no, not Halo. The Spartans from Thermopylae, from the Greek thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And it was a meme video. It was a meme video of all these like daily traders who got into GameStop screaming at each other to hold the line as this like super fat, grotesque like hedge fund manager was standing in the background, like yelling at them for buying GameStop stocks and shit, and it was just like the weirdest, funniest thing ever. I thought it was hilarious.
Hey, all I'm saying is the billionaires weren't stupid. They knew that they probably knew how to work around what was going on, especially with the Robin Hood thing. Probably
They knew how
paid
to
them
work
off.
Oh,
around.
most likely.
Something.
Wait, so you don't think the hedge funds got fucked up with what happened?
Completely no.
Oh
No.
yeah, I don't think they're like ruined or
I
anything.
think
But
they still made money.
I definitely
Oh,
think
yeah.
we pissed them off.
They still made a lot of money.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Maybe
Easily.
not.
Especially
The
since-
internet thinks it just like took down the bourgeois or some shit.
No.
Like it just over.
No, absolutely not.
Well, the biggest trading app, like on every app store, took down buying those stocks when it was just starting to go up.
Oh yeah, all right.
So they totally fucked it.
Yeah, to get a little political for a second, I'm personally irritated with what I've been hearing about this. A lot of people in managing positions of these stocks and all this, or not stocks, but in trading and like people in the public eye and everything, are calling for more regulations on the stock market and suggesting that like because the average man had like a little bit of a victory here and made like a bunch of money, that like that's a bad thing, and it means the stock market's super unstable, and that like they should start regulating it deeper or further, and that pissed me off personally, because it's the same people who have always called for less regulation in the stock market. Now because they didn't just have like a total decisive victory, want more regulation, and that pisses me off like really bad. And like not allowing people to trade on the stock market and stuff because it was doing too well, I guess. That's all just super fucked up. Like that's not good. That's crony business practices. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty goddamn libertarian about economics. I think people should be allowed to do whatever they want, mostly in the business world, but like I don't like crony capitalism. I believe in a certain amount of regulation so that the economy can be reliable enough that it's not going to collapse, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Crony capitalism is not sustainable. It's not safe. It's not something the average person can function in. It's not something that you want to be a part of, right? And this shit where they just change the rules because something didn't work out for them it shouldn't be acceptable, and it's fucked up. It's really not good. Like, at all. And, like, I'm not sure Robinhood, for instance, should have the power to just remove a type of stock off the market, because
That's where
that's
it
shady
gets
as fuck.
unfortunate, because because before, I told you I used an app called Stash, right?
Yeah. I tried to use
I
that, but
decided-
apparently my fucking bank doesn't support it. Stupid.
That's why I was like, started to take my money off, and now I'm going directly to a broker, because that's where it comes down to, like you said, you don't think they should. It comes down to that app is privately owned, so they can just pull it or stop. That's what my brother was telling me. That's why I pulled off of that, and I'm officially going to be talking to a broker instead. One, because it'll yield better results. Two, I have more control over my money, and I know for a fact I will have it.
Yeah, I pulled everything out of my Robinhood account and just put it all on Coinbase.
Yeah, what's up with what's up with you pulling out a Robinhood just because they were getting crony with it? Just because it looked like they were being controlled or something? Is that why?
Well, I don't think they're going to go out of business or anything because of this, but like, I'm not going to support that company if they're going to do shady stuff like that. Like, who knows?
You're voting with your
Maybe
wallet.
something like this will happen again.
Yeah, so you're voting with your wallet, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
How are you going to go about trading stocks from this point on, then?
I'm just going to do crypto from now on, honestly.
Really?
I just like the concept more. I think it's going places.
I have to agree with you. Oh, Will, do you watch any General Sam on YouTube?
No, I don't know who that is.
Okay, Hector, you do, right? Or you have?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
He's I would call him a YouTube comedian. He's like a gaming comedian, is what I would call him, and he's funny as fuck. When he gets his full like editing game on and really polishes off a video, it is some of the funniest content on YouTube I've ever seen, especially if you like video games. But
Yeah.
yeah, but he does a lot of Tarkov stuff, and he's actually like broken through or broken away from his comedy aspect a little bit with the Tarkov stuff, and actually like can actually play Tarkov and has a group of people who can actually play it, and like he's good friends with Aqua FPS and shit, and Aqua's like made a whole career out of live streaming Tarkov and like shit like that. And fucking shit, where the fuck was I going? Oh no, okay, in one live stream that General Sam did like a long time ago was during like I think it was during a hurricane or something because he lives in Florida. He decided to live stream during a hurricane. Yeah,
of course, it's Florida.
He bought a shit ton of Bitcoin right before it dropped, and he didn't know it was going to drop. But he like spent this outrageous amount of money on Bitcoin right before it dropped, and like apparently he underwent some like financial hardship or something because of it. And I'm wondering if now he's like rich as fuck, and he just hasn't talked about it. Because he owns all this stock in Bitcoin, and thought it was like the worst investment of his life, and now he might legit be a millionaire right now. Like, not even gonna lie.
That's the game. You don't know if how that will go.
But from what I've seen of him on his YouTube channel, I figured if he like became a millionaire from Bitcoin, the first thing he would have done is post about it or say some shit about it. But he hasn't. So like, I don't know, man. I don't know, but
I don't know. This was quite recent that I did do the Dogecoin thing, but I sometimes feel like it's awkward to talk about it because I don't want to seem like an egotistical asshole about it, sort of thing.
That's
like I don't know, just sometimes
fancy son, and you got a picture of Squilliam with his unibrow as your Discord picture. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
No, I think you should be perfectly happy with what happened and flaunt that shit. Honestly, though, I think it's badass, and it's definitely something I look up to. Like, I've never been
you took the opportunity and you grabbed
exactly. I've
That's
never
what you
been
need
one
to do.
to get jealous of people's financial accomplishments. If anything, I'm almost like, teach me, please. I want to do it too. That's
I was saying,
totally how I
Will,
am
you
about
did you should be fine without this because in cryptocurrency you have to be an opportunist. You have to be willing to just go out there and just grab it. You have to have confidence when you're doing cryptocurrency and stuff like that. You have to be willing to go for it. And he had it, and he made money. He made good money off of it.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is I did use Robinhood for that.
Mm.
And they have instant deposit on there.
Oh, shit.
Oh, so you're just like,
You're like, take
Yeah.
that shit. Good shit, dude.
my man was quick on the trigger.
Oh, that away. It's fucking badass.
So that was the nice thing about it. Then I took the profits off of that and switched to Coinbase and just put that in a few coins on there, like Litecoin, Ethereum, and stuff. Just
See, now you're throwing out names of cryptocurrency I don't even fucking know, like, at all.
they're all basically the same thing. Just there's just little things about them that make them different,
Okay. God, that's so
which I don't even know fully.
Yeah, like the fact that we don't really understand like the science behind mining, that like the average person dealing in these currencies doesn't totally understand, that is weird. That's so weird and bizarre to me. In a good way,
100%.
kind of. That's so crazy. It's like its own science and magic, basically.
Well, I think the value of crypto is just going to keep going up because since it like around now and definitely when Bitcoin hit its like started to go like really up, more people are starting to understand what it is.
Yeah.
Which means more people are going to be interested in maybe investing in it. With more buys, kind of drives the value up a little bit.
Yeah,
so
and then
just,
it being international is a big deal too, because that.
Yeah, and it's a 24/7 market.
Exactly.
There's no like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. thing. It's 24/7. So you could go to bed and wake up with like minus 500 in your account. You never know.
Damn, that's insane. Wow, that's so fucking crazy. But so is
Oh, there we go.
is there any platform where you can literally just buy stuff using Bitcoin? And then if you did, you wouldn't want to buy it with an entire Bitcoin because one Bitcoin is worth so much money because its value changes. Like if you bought something with Bitcoin like on the internet per se, right? Then like how the fuck does that work? Does it fragment Bitcoins?
I mean, did you know that there's a Bitcoin ATM in our mall?
No, and how the fuck does that even work? It's cryptocurrency. What the fuck do you mean?
You use like, so when you do have cryptocurrency, you have a wallet address.
Oh yeah.
So you put in your wallet address, and then you could buy from there. And like Microsoft even accepts Bitcoin as a payment option.
Oh shit. Okay.
You could buy Xbox games with Bitcoin.
Then how do you use it? Because like I said, one Bitcoin's worth like what, $40,000 or some shit. So does that mean a Bitcoin gets fragmented when you spend it on shit?
Yeah, you could have like a partial amount of a coin.
Okay, and that all makes sense now, and that's kind of how it's similar to breaking a dollar into.
Yeah, like
things.
you could spend like 5% of a Bitcoin.
Okay,
Or you could own like 0.05 of one.
Okay, that makes more sense. I think you tried explaining that to me in middle school when I came home and saw your little miners in the corner.
Yeah.
What, Hector? What's up?
Do I sound fine?
No, you don't sound fine. You sound like you're in a tunnel or something.
Just give me a second.
Okay, you're good. Well,
Audio's being all lovely and stuff.
Hector's talk of For Honor does make me want to play For Honor when we're done with the podcast. You guys want to do that?
I'll have to plug in my Xbox really quick, but well,
You have to
no,
step
I
down and
have to eat dinner.
09.
We're going out.
You're all
Is that
good.
better?
It's better than it was, but I don't think you're as clear as you were at the beginning of the podcast. What'd you do?
I went from my headphones to my AirPods.
Oh no, yeah, you're fine now. What you're doing is fine. Not as clear as it was at the beginning, but not enough that like people would be getting pissed off about it or something.
Okay, was just double checking on that.
Are either of you guys like familiar with Jordan Peterson?
I'm not familiar with Jordan Peterson.
The name sounds familiar.
He's a lot of people call him like a self-help guru. I think that's really not giving him enough credit. But he's a psychologist from Canada, actually, but he spent a lot of time here in the United States. He's done like a bunch of revolutionary work on self-help and on like social dynamics and hierarchies and stuff, combining like human psychology and some biological factors and stuff to like gauge a lot of social problems and even political problems that we have. And like, I think he's a real insightful motherfucker, and he's like one of my role models, right? He recently did an interview with
Okay.
I'm just connecting it to the bad quality thing. He recently did an interview with this person from the Times. That's all it said on his channel, is that it was from the Times. And they did it over like a chatting service, and it was the worst audio quality from her like ever. Like it was awful. Like it was, trying to listen to that was like the most ear rapiest thing I've ever done in my entire life. It was fucking awful. And they tried to fix it like 2-3 times throughout the episode and just couldn't. It's because it was a problem on her end, but yeah, it was fucking terrible.
It happens sometimes.
It does happen sometimes. All right. I'd say the last subject, because this wasn't one of those episodes that I can drag out for like 3 hours, because this is more news based and current event stuff.
Yeah.
But I'd say the last main subject that I'd like to get into is free speech and social media.
Free speech and social media.
Yeah, we're seeing some crazy shit, I think, in my opinion. Are either of you like up to date with what's been going on?
My opinion on it is that they are private companies, the social media pages, but so it comes to a point where they shouldn't be able to, I guess, limit politicians to a point like everyone just canceling Trump when
Shouldn't
he is
abuse of
the
power.
president of America. Like,
Yeah,
no
Yeah.
matter what you think of him, like,
he's the president, or he was.
Yeah.
When he was banned off of
Exactly.
Twitter and stuff. Well, see, I almost want to take it a step further than that. So I agree with you completely that they're private companies and they should be able to do what they want. But in order for them to do that from a legal standpoint, I think they should be required to explain in more detail and have more specific guidelines on what service they're providing. Because Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter and stuff are acting more like publishers than just chat forums, right? Acting
right.
more like news sources than just forums for conversation and dialogue. And then on top of
Yeah.
that, if they're gonna, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but like the destruction of Parler and stuff, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah, with
The
like
third-party
Apple
company.
and Google just said, "Nah, we don't want your app."
Exactly.
Just because the
crony
president
capitalism.
wanted to switch there.
Yeah, that's crony capitalism, and that's effectively creating a monopoly, is it not?
I would say you are correct there.
Yeah. So they need to determine whether or not they're publishers or just a chat forum, and if they are a chat forum that says they support free speech, well, guess what? Legally, they shouldn't be responsible for any of the stupid shit people say on the site, so they don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Right? They won't lose ad revenue they won't lose ad revenue from that because one, they're not legally responsible for it. None of the ads will be legally responsible for the stupid shit people say on it, like YouTube back in the good old days, right? And on top of that, fucking there is no better way to advertise than social media.
Exactly.
Absolutely. In the modern day, everything
Exactly.
is through social media in terms of networking,
you
marketing,
had-
get yourself out there, all that.
Exactly. If advertisers had a different platform to run to that was more family friendly, I'd get it. I would totally get it. You gotta constrict what you're seeing because you're competing to get ad revenue, but they're not competing. They have a monopoly over the ad market and have no business in determining what's ad friendly and what isn't. Because if an advertiser doesn't like the shit being posted on your platform, what the fuck are they gonna do? Go to a different platform? No, you killed the other goddamn platforms. Right?
Yeah, it's a really fucked up but legal system.
It's not legal. It's a fucking monopoly. Just our government is so goddamn untech savvy, which I'm not one to talk. I'm very untech savvy, but our government is also untech savvy, full of old fuckers who either don't understand or are so crony they're not going to do anything about it.
It doesn't really follow the definition of monopoly because it's multiple companies. Just they all have the same view, which fucks it up.
I think there's a trust, a conglomerate or a trust, something like that, which is still illegal, or at least it was when we were breaking up monopolies in the Industrial Revolution. I know that much. That's the premise of this kind of stuff. Because when I say monopoly, I am throwing that out a little loosely. I don't mean the only company functioning in that market. I mean a group of companies, so like a trust, coming together and bogarting the rest of it, basically.
I kind of do disagree with you there because all of these companies do still compete against each other. Like, let's take actually, well,
I think
Apple,
so connected now, though.
like
That's
the App Store and the Play Store, like Google versus Apple, two totally different companies, and they do have a lot of competition against each other.
Mm-hmm.
But they just have the same view, like a democratic view, I guess you could say, of how the social medias that they own or have on their app store should be run.
All right, before we get more into that, because I do like your perspective and I do want to talk about it more, but I just realized we're doing any viewers that might watch this a disservice because we didn't really explain anything that took place. We're just talking about modern events like everybody's going to be clued in.
Good point.
Yeah, so a bunch of the big tech companies, especially social media companies and stuff, and I think
Especially Facebook, because
Facebook
they
and
own like
Amazon too, because a lot of
yeah,
people don't know this, but Amazon makes like, I think the majority of its money isn't even from its delivery service, it's from owning servers.
yeah,
Yeah, and working with the
Really?
military too, with servers and shit like that. And
Okay.
there was it one or two third-party apps that like supported full free speech and didn't really monitor anything. I think it was just one. It was Parler, right?
right.
Right. So there was like a third option, basically. It was growing. It was really getting somewhere. Where it was a social media platform that really suggested it was a forum instead of a publisher, in which free speech was like the core tenet, and you could say whatever the fuck you wanted. It was like the wild west of the frontier of social media.
Which is what we need.
It is what we need, because I don't see any problem with having both. You can have an ad friendly normal version, and then you can have a version that's meant just for shit posting. Like, honestly.
Yeah,
And these big tech
definitely.
companies
I do
grouped up
agree with
together.
that.
Exactly, and these big tech companies grouped up together and destroyed this smaller company. And I think the claim, because I don't want to be too biased about it, I just don't like it because I feel like it's an attack on free speech.
It definitely is.
Yeah, but they grouped up together and suggested that they needed to take it down because it was not fostering, it was harboring, that's the correct term. It was harboring like alt-right Nazi type shit, QAnon type shit on the platform. And personally, in my opinion, I think as long as it's a forum, there shouldn't be any legal repercussions to that, and it's not Parler's problem, to be totally honest.
It shouldn't be like
Yeah, if people can talk about it on the internet, they can talk about it in real life, and there's no reason to censor it at all until they actually do something illegal.
definitely, yeah. Like you can't go on there and say
You
I'm
can't
gonna
incite
bomb
violence.
like a building.
Yeah, exactly. You can't incite violence or make lethal, or not lethal, but like violent threats, right? Like for instance, I don't think saying the N-word should be legal, but saying you're going to cause harm to anybody in any way, shape, or form, especially if it's like race related or hate speech related in that way, that should be illegal. As soon as it's an actual threat or inciting violence or alluding to violence, which is what courtrooms are for, to argue about whether or not something was alluding to violence, because that can get really gray, right?
Yeah.
That's when free speech can be brought into question, because free speech can only be free speech until you're stomping on somebody else's constitutional rights. So like your free speech can't destroy somebody else's ability to speak. But yeah, like I would personally just like to see a distinction between publishers and forums. Forums should not be legally responsible for any of the shit that happens on their site, to be totally honest, because it's a free speech platform, right? They'd still get ad revenue, and I feel like they'd be way more popular than everything else. It would be like the dark web's version of Twitter, basically.
Yeah, what really just sucked. What sucked was that Parler was like the solution
It was
to
growing.
like what's going on, and they just shut it down. Really came down to Amazon, if anything, because they just took them off of their hosting service.
Yep. Just fucked. Were you saying something?
Well, the
Victor?
problem with the problem with a lot of the social media stuff right now, in terms of like what you were saying, is it doesn't just straight to the United States, and that's where a little bit of an issue comes into stir. Because remember, it's like everywhere, and I mean everywhere.
Oh, you mean social
that-
media presence?
Social media, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's where like we can have little restrictions and stuff like that.
Well, a more how do I explain it? A more unliked, controversial opinion that I hold is when working in those other countries, even though U.S. citizens should like be able to talk to people from China, right, over social media, if China doesn't want their people seeing certain things, the company has the ability to censor that. It shouldn't be censored for American users, though. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
it's just like when Chinese people are in chats in video games. If you type in, I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, but like Tiananmen Square or whatever the fuck it's called, their internet will get turned off because there's algorithms looking for that phrase, and if you talk about it in China, they like get banned.
I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, they will actually whatever algorithm governs their internet access, if it sees like certain phrases and shit, they're just cut off.
That's a little bit fucked.
Oh, it's totally fucked, but what I'm saying is, like, if China's able to impose rules like that on their own citizens, then it's not up to our social media companies to deal with that country's specific internet policies. That country can take care of it itself. It's not our fucking problem.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Especially when these social media like companies are based in the US.
Exactly. But the big problem we run into a lot of the time, shit like Blizzard, for instance, I really wish Ian was here for this part of the podcast, but fucking them kowtowing to China and shit, and it affecting us, right? That is just so stupid and fucked, and I think it's lazy. They can edit things specifically for the Chinese market and it not have to affect us.
Definitely. Yeah.
Definitely. All right. But oh wait, what you were saying though, Will? You were saying that it was inherently democratic, the decision they made to get rid of Parler, right? Because it was a bunch of separate entities agreeing together, right?
Well, what I was saying was that I felt like all these big tech companies are more democratic leaning because
Oh, you mean they lean left on the political spectrum is what you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
and that's why they all had the same view of removing Trump off of their social media pages.
And their reasoning for removing Parler, other than it being up and coming competition, was because it was fostering alt-right views.
Yeah, so that was my argument, saying it's not really a monopoly. They just all have the same democratic view, which is still a little bit fucked up.
A little bit,
because they're still censoring a politician.
It's a private company. What are we going to do?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it really comes down to.
If they were legally considered a chat free speech forum, they wouldn't have to worry about the censorship to begin with, and we wouldn't have this problem.
They don't want to label themselves as that, though.
No, they want to be a publisher, which, if they're a publisher, and if Parler was a forum, they shouldn't legally have any problem with each other at all. They should be fucking with different markets, and boom, bada bing, problem solved. But
yeah,
that's not how it works right now. And a really big way to fix this problem is the government needs to make sure these companies aren't liable for some of the shit said on their platforms.
They can't do that, though, because they're private companies.
Exactly.
If they do it to them, then they could do it to anyone.
It's so that they're not liable, I said. So, like, if somebody threatens somebody's life on social media, if Facebook wants to have a policy in which they are going to try to take care of that, they can, but I don't think Facebook should be legally liable for somebody using their forum as a way to communicate that threat. Do you get what I'm saying?
I don't think they ever were liable.
No, they are, and that's why they care so much. They care because of ad revenue, they care because of public perception, and they care because they can be legally liable for shit that happens on these platforms. They really can.
Okay.
That's also most of it's public relations, I'd say, more than anything. But like that's why a bunch of credit card companies were like anti-Pornhub recently. Yeah, maybe we can touch on that before we end the episode. Do you know anything about that, Hector?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I kind of do. Not saying that I use that site or anything. I've just heard what's going on.
All right, we'll leave that part of the discussion out of it. But recently, Pornhub like deleted well over half of their content, like millions and millions and millions of videos.
How would you know?
Because it's public news, you cunt. Alright, but they deleted a shit ton of their content and it's because a bunch of like credit card companies strong-armed them into doing it because they basically said we won't do business with you anymore until you get your shit fixed, and the shit that they needed to fix was apparently a shit ton of the content on Pornhub, like more than half of it apparently was either like sexual misconduct in the way of like things like rape or like forced stuff or underage stuff.
And also an issue with that was a lot of the videos were not even porn, I guess you could say. But,
yeah, like a bunch of people were trying to use Pornhub as
like,
the
you
wild
could
west
use-
of social media. The B movie.
yeah,
for
you could
instance.
use it to just like post like the B movie,
Yes. I know
and it wouldn't
for-
get taken down.
Yeah, during one of the last YouTube ad apocalypses, you know, people started posting on Pornhub just like it was their normal YouTube channel.
Yeah,
It
which
was
is
funny 'cause,
hilarious.
like, I imagine this fucking Minecraft
And I support
YouTuber.
that.
Me too. I did back when it was like a Wild West platform. Obviously, I don't want any of the sexual misconduct stuff happening, but these
Yeah, of course.
yeah, these social media platforms though, them cracking down makes it really hard to just post whatever the fuck you want. But I mean, and obviously there was a really big controversy there that they shouldn't have underage people and they shouldn't have rape porn and shit on their service. But
That's why it's now all verified
yes,
users.
Yes. The big problem with it though was because they were making a shit ton of money off of this kind of stuff and they were super hesitant to take it down. They like fought it at first. Because they were making so much money off of this super fucked up content.
They didn't want to do any of the changes that they were being pushed to by advertisers and all that.
Exactly. But it was a funny image in my mind when YouTubers first started moving to Pornhub during like the last adpocalypse because fucking I imagined this like wholesome Minecraft YouTuber just uploading videos to Pornhub, and in the right side it's grow 2 inches in 2 weeks or some shit. Advertisement. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And that image was just funny as fuck to me. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah. Alright.
Man.
Yep. Do any of you guys have anything else you want to add to the subject matter of this episode?
I think I've got everything out of my system.
Yeah.
Not really much more to add besides just small advice for cryptocurrency and stuff like that. And that's just if you're going to get into it, have confidence, don't get greedy.
Yeah, never get greedy. Don't think about what ifs either. Like if you sell and make like a 20% profit and then like the next day you could have made like an extra $20, don't dwell on it. Like
Exactly.
you never know
That's
what could have
$20
happened.
you didn't have before. You got to take that now.
Yeah, like
Will's only
just-
saying that because he missed out on another $1,000 he could have made with Dogecoin.
I mean, I could have
And
made
this is Ashton's greed, and
15,000
this is
if
where
I had my
Ashton loses
Bitcoin.
money.
Yeah, I was just talking shit. I'm sorry. I didn't make any money, so just be
If
happy.
I held
This
all
is
the
why
Bitcoin,
Will here made more money than you would.
Yeah, because I didn't make shit.
if I held all the Bitcoin I've ever made, I could have well over $50,000 right now.
God,
But I don't dwell on it because it's just all what ifs.
Because it's a matter of chance, and
You
with
could have
that
people's
matter,
entire
there's a matter of like, what if I lost all that?
Definitely, yeah.
That's how I look at that kind of shit. When people throw around numbers like $50,000, that's how much a Bitcoin is worth. I'm just sitting there in my mind like, okay, so let's get this straight. You could have a shitty house or somebody's entire yearly income just chilling in your pocket right now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, if you're getting into it now, the best thing to do is buy low, sell high. Just like,
Exactly.
Well,
just
that's
when you
that's
have
what I was saying.
downtime,
Where the fuck
just-
do you go from now that a bunch of the shaking up of the stock market has already taken place?
well, most other stocks are just how they were before. Like, the stock market hasn't really changed. Crypto has changed kind of a little bit. It's morely going the pump and dump route more than it was before, I think.
Quick buy, quick sell. That's all it takes.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah. A lot of people who are just getting into it are doing that. Some are holding. If you just want money quick, buy, sell. Because then your value of your account will go up. And you'll have more to hold if you ever just want to hold.
Exactly, and like there's many different there's different ways of approaching cryptocurrency in terms of you want to make money. Like if you want to make money in terms of like the long term stocks, quick
Yeah.
stuff, like what I'm doing forex or what Will's doing here, Dogecoin, and stuff like that.
All right.
Stocks are for the hold. I think crypto is definitely just buy and sell, just to play it safe, because crypto is such a new thing relatively compared to stocks
Yeah. Okay.
that you never really know.
At the end of the day, it's a game that you got to gamble with.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that
It's like going to the
economically
casino.
I'm so goddamn conservative about that kind of stuff. I don't take risks economically, and when I do it,
But yet you are one of the most greediest SOBs I know.
I am. I don't like letting go of shit. Fuck. All right, whatever. All right, good episode, guys. This was episode 6. Social media, stocks, cryptocurrencies, yada yada. All right.